Hey, John, how are you this week?
Hi, Elliot. Good, thanks. Yourself?
I'm good too. Heard you had some wet weather.
Yeah, we needed the rain, but we didn't need it for just 20 minutes. But things are good.
I was reading things that were coming across my screen, and I noted some updates on something we talked about a couple weeks ago, and that's the possibility of some real um, reform in the BSA space working its way through Congress. Did you see that?
Yeah, really interesting. We said this before, obviously, even on this program. There hasn't been anything this comprehensive since the Patriot Act, and a couple things happened. One is the movement of the National Defense Authorization Act gave an opening for some related amendments, which included over 100 pages that contain both Corporate Transparency Act and a number of the AML reform issues that we've talked about before. So those were added to the legislation and has passed the House. And they are waiting for a Senate House conference. So very interesting. The two things I would call out is on corporate transparency, um, a number of things would happen, including personal information of ultimate owners would have to be sent to FinCEN and updated on an annual basis. And that's something broadly supported by the FACT Coalition, banking organizations, groups like Transparency International. So this is a major change and also could potentially mean a reduction, the language is there, a reduction in what banks are currently required to do under the CDD rule. Now, none of this would happen overnight, but this is certainly a major move.
Yeah, I think that piece alone would be a major change for the positive, both for transparency and some burden relief to the financial institutions. I noticed that in the Transparency Act proposal, the obligation to do the reporting is actually on the companies to FinCEN, the actual entities, and not the banks and other financial institutions, which I thought was that's where I think it fits. Obviously, anything would be an improvement, but it seems to me that it makes a lot of sense that the company should have to report.
Yeah, and that was always our point of view when this first percolated up. Obviously, it's been around, the issue itself, since a 2006 analysis by FATF that the U.S. had deficiencies in beneficial ownership information gathering, and placing it on the banks, we've always felt was not enough, especially when we know what goes on in a number of these states where it's so easy to incorporate.
Yeah, so let's see, Congress goes into recess soon, a couple of weeks, I think. And so do you think both houses will pass their versions of the National Defense Authorization Act before they go into recess?
I'm not sure, not as wired into that as I used to be, but clearly the act has to get on the president's desks because it's got an October 1st timeframe. So I do think it's a very good possibility. And the other part of the corporate transparency bill has been a series of provisions on AML reform, very similar to what we talked about earlier. In fact, a lot of it comes from what was called a counteract in the House, very similar provisions in the Senate. There's some very interesting things there. And as I said before, let's not be suspicious of studies. There's a number of studies there that I think could be extremely valuable on trade-based money laundering, on de-risking. There's also some provisions on feedback to increase that, which we've always talked about, that's important, to make permanent geographic targeting orders, which has been a valuable tool for law enforcement. Number of other things, and one that I'm particularly interested in with a group that I'm working with is the application of the BSA to dealers in antiquities. So there's a lot in here. We will certainly stay on top of this. This, again, the most comprehensive change to the AML environment in certainly 20 years.
Right. So next steps will be passage of the Defense Authorization Act in each house, and then they'll sit in conference and sort through all the pieces, including these amendments on AML reform.
Right. It's a pretty exciting time, and it's fairly bipartisan from what I can tell.
Well, that's a good place for bipartisanship to return to Congress.
Right. Great talking to you today. Stay safe. We'll talk
Yep.
next week.
Have a good weekend.
You too.